Welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. This is a special edition of The Gunfight. And whenever there is a mass shooting like the one in Orlando, people look to blame someone or something. The shooting at the Pulse nightclub has restarted conversations on whether everyday citizens need assault weapons. Here to talk about that and that issue are State Representative Mary Margaret Oliver from Decatur and Attorney Holly Hughes. And Representative Oliver, I want to start with you because you think about it. Next year, you plan to reintroduce your bill that calls for a total ban on assault weapons and armor-piercing bullets. Tell us about that and tell us your views on it.
In 1934, we banned Tommy guns based on the firepower that organized crime had at that time against traditional law enforcement. In the tradition since 1934, we have defined assault type weapons, and there are many different kind of technological machines that come under that broad definition, and 7 states plus the District of Columbia have banned those type weapons that are uniquely suited to kill people in a very fast and efficient way, and are the form of weapons in a variety of different products, the AR-15, the AK-47, that are used in the mass shootings, including Orlando. The federal courts of appeals, the Second Circuit, the Seventh Circuit, and the Fourth Circuit are all dealing with these statutes from Connecticut, New York, Illinois, and Maryland. And I'm following this case law very carefully. I want to bring that rational discussion, intellectually honest, rational discussion about what our gun control versus gun rights issues are to Georgia. It's time to have a bipartisan, rational discussion. Earlier in my political career, we had bipartisan discussions on gun issues. Today, it's the worst kind of political issue, the worst kind of divisive, and the least honest, in my view, kind of discussion that we absolutely have to have. And I'm very personally grateful to my Congressman, John Lewis, a hero of mine and many of us, to bring this issue forward again in a very, very powerful way.
Holly Hughes, you are a former senior district attorney here in Atlanta, and do you think a ban on assault weapons is possible? Because you think about it, shoving that genie back in the bottle, some would say is, well, it's impossible.
Nothing is impossible, and that's the power of the people. And as Mary Margaret just mentioned to us, there are already 7 states plus the District of Columbia that have enacted these laws. What I would like to see is, instead of a total ban on a particular type of gun, I think what we need to do is go back to who are we allowing access to these guns. Now, I will be perfectly blunt with you, Gloria. I don't see any reason for a normal, regular, walking down the street citizen to be carrying an AR or have armor-piercing bullets.
And let me stop you right there. When you hear that, well, you know, we have our right to bear arms, do you always think, you know what, our forefathers did not see this piece
they didn't
coming?
Envision this?
It
Absolutely.
talks about a well-regulated militia. So can you talk about that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you do not need an AR-15 to go take down a deer or to go shoot a couple rabbits or some squirrels off your back fence. You need to... We have just lost in the politics, and no disrespect to this lady, okay, I'm a big fan, but we have lost common sense. And this is one of the things, as a lawyer, I can tell you, quite frankly, having practiced law for 20-some years here in Atlanta, I have been in enough courtrooms. There are 2 sides to every story, okay? There is an argument that can be made about anything, Gloria. Every time you go into a courtroom and have a hearing, a motion, or a trial, it's because 2 sides disagree. And we need to stop taking that adversarial tact with each other. We need to have everybody come to the table and say, yes, I know you want a total ban. Yes, I know you want total freedom and no bans whatsoever, but you are elected officials of the people. They have put you there to represent their will. Of course, there's 2 sides to every story, but let's come together and find out where that middle ground is. Let's not refuse to vote. Okay, let's not say we're not going to address the issue. It's pretty clear based on the numbers and the deaths and the tragedies and the injuries. We need to have a discussion. So let's stop pretending, you know, we're 5 years old and this is a sandbox and you can't play in my sandbox. Let's say, meet in the middle. What can we do to find that common ground to protect our citizens?
And Representative, quickly, let me just say this. Are we the people allowing our representatives to get away with too much?
Yes. Our political dialogue is broken on this issue, some other issues also, but on this issue, there's no intelligent political dialogue. In this issue, money, $2 million to Senator David Perdue from the NRA, and a very narrow view of a very loud minority is controlling the debate. 72% of Georgians support a ban of some kind on assault-type weapons. The people of Georgia are entitled, at the very minimum, to have an intelligent, rational, intellectually honest discussion about where the law is, where the balancing test is on the right to have a gun versus the right, as our state constitution says, for public safety to control weapons. It's a debate that has to happen, has not happened based on a failure of politics.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Very, very powerful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Still to come, Georgia does not have a hate crime law. I'll talk to one lawmaker who intends to change that when Public Affairs on Peach returns.